today's lesson, we're going to be looking at the compulsory section of May-June 2024 as paper. Our main focus will be on the multiple choice question, and then the balance of the question in the compulsory section will be completed on the separate video. What is important is how are we going to approach the multiple choice question. Our approach will be to select the correct answer and understand why the correct answer was selected. So question 1 has 8 questions. It's 1.1.1 to 1.1.8, and we will go through all the 8 questions. Now let us read what 1.1 says. The various options were provided as possible answers to the following questions. Choose the answer and write only the letter A to D next to the question numbers 1.1.1 to 1.1.8. And then they've made an example to say if you are saying the answer is D, then 1.1.9 next to, then you have D. Now let's see what is important for you to understand. It is important for you to understand that you are not supposed to bring back the full names. However, you just need to bring back whether A, B, C, or D is your answer. Exactly how it is shown here. Now let's look at the question. The first question is 1.1.1. When calculating gross domestic expenditure, errors and omissions are accounted for by the market price, residual item, basic price, or input cost. The correct answer is B, and the name is a residual item. When you're answering, you should not bring back a residual item. You should only write D next to 1.1.1. Now let's also understand what is a residual item. In economics, a residual item refers to the remainder or leftover portion that is not accounted for by the certain factor in the mathematical or statistical model. That is why the correct answer is B. It's because B, it is an omission or a leftover that is not accounted for, right? It is for that reason that B is the correct answer. Then let's just look at 1.1.2. The vertical difference between a through and the next peak of the cycle is known as A, its amplitude, B, its extrapolation, C, its moving average, and D, its length of cycle. The correct answer is A, and A, its amplitude. You need to understand why A was the correct answer. Amplitude is the difference in the security price from its wave cycle through or bottom to the crest or peak of its price movement over the period of time. Amplitude is positive when calculating a bullish retracement and negative when calculating a bearish retracement. It is for that reason that the correct answer was A. Based on the definition, you can see that we're talking about the vertical difference between the peak as well as the through. So now that is why your answer is A. Now let's just look at 1.1.3. The Minister of Finance present the medium-term budget policy statements or MTBPS in every year. We have February, we have June, we have April, and we have October. The correct answer is October. And then how do you know it's October? Your teacher would have told you before you write the exam that the MTBPS is presented in October, and last year it was presented on the 30th of October 2024. You would have known that before you went and write the paper. It is important for you to remember that the medium-term budget policy statement, it is presented in the month of October, and we made an example to say on the 30th of October 2024 that when it was presented last year. 1.1.4, the difference between tangible export and tangible import is called A, trade balance, B, current transfer, C, reserve asset, D, trade deficit. The correct answer is trade balance. And you need to understand why is trade balance the correct answer. You need to understand what is a trade balance. A trade balance is the difference between the value of country's import and export for the given period and its it's the largest component of the country's balance of payment. So now you understand why trade balance is the correct answer, because trade balance is the difference between the export and import of the country. And then when you look at 1.1.5, the worldwide interfacing and interaction of economies with trade as an important element is called A, nationalization, B, centralization, C, globalization, and D, devaluation. The correct answer is globalization. Why the correct answer is globalization? Because globalization refers to the increasing interaction and interdependence of nations around the world through trade, investment, and cultural exchange, and the flow of information and the technology. This process involves the movement of goods, services, capital, people, and ideas across the borders, leading to a greater interconnectedness and the shared challenge in the community. That is why the globalization, it is the correct answer, because it is a worldwide interfacing and interaction of the economies. The globalization is the correct answer. Let's look at 1.1.6. The form of the tax that is levied annually on the market value of the residential office factory building is called A, it's capital gain tax, B, it's property tax, C, it's transfer duty, and D, it's estate duty. If you're looking at what we see here, this is all interrelated, and is very easy for you to make a mistake in selecting the wrong answer. And the correct answer is property tax. You need to understand why it is property tax. The property tax is an annual or semi-annual charge levied by the local government and paid by the owner of real estate within its jurisdiction. And the property tax, it's ad valorem tax, meaning the amount owed is a percentage of the asset value of the real estate. For that reason, then property tax was the correct answer, because this is levied on the market value of either of the three that has been mentioned. 1.1.7, a, a geographical designated area that has been set aside for to develop specific economic activity is known as A, industrial base, B, export processing zone, C, industrial hub, and D, it's a special economic zone. The correct answer in this question is special economic zone, and you need to understand why the special economic zone is the correct answer. Special economic zones are designated areas within a country where the business and the trade laws differ from the rest of the nation, aiming to attract investment and stimulate economic activity. These zones often offers tax brackets, relaxed regulations, and other incentives to encourage companies to locate their operations within the zone. That is why the correct answer is special economic zone, because it's a geographically designated area. So this designated area is placed to ensure that they improve the revenue of the country by reducing the tax in that zone. And then 1.1.8, which is our last question, the Human Development Index of the country with the highest level of development is 10, 0, 1, and 100. So if you see here, the lowest number, it's 1, and the 0, it's something that is nil, and then 10 is higher than 1, and 100 is higher than 1. So the correct answer is 1, because we're looking at the highest level of development of that particular country. Then the correct answer is 1. So you've seen, as we were going through this, we didn't look at other terms and explain them in details. The reason I did not explain other terms in details is because when we go through other past papers, you will have advantage to find to get an explanation for those that were not explained here. Our purpose is to understand how to go about answering multiple choice question when you are practicing toward your main exam. I want to wish you all the best as you're looking forward to write your exam. And then please follow me and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Economics 199, as well as the TikToks account. It's Economics 199. Thank you and all the best.